Okay, so Ta Meri Finance is the first licensed company providing financial leasing services in Cyprus. Financial leasing is essentially a loan agreement between two parties to hire a car, repay the car, and then you have the option at the end to buy the car or return the car to us and get a new car. This is something new in Cyprus. We are the first company that we achieved to do this. In order to establish ourselves and make more prestigious Ta Meri Finance, we started our license process 2 years ago, so we managed to achieve this license. How we differ with traditional banks, the only institutions in Cyprus that provide finance lease, and in not the exact terms, is banks. We are more tech-driven, we have more expertise than banks, we are more fast-moving with the current environment and the industry of the cars into this market. So what differs is that we are the pioneers, we are the first that we brought this product in Cyprus. We are the only ones that were allowed to do this in Cyprus, and we are very proud for this. So first of all, let's see the numbers. So the market, because before we do any move, we always do our market research and see how we can adapt into each market and if we can easily get in. So in Cyprus, there are 44,000 of car sales per year, where 50%, 60% is used cars, 40% is new cars. Okay, 40% of those sales are financed by banks. So no other company could provide the services we provide because our products differ from banks. So that's the initial first step. The second step is that banks here in Cyprus, they don't like to provide car loans because the only thing that they want to invest in is real estate. So there is a big market out there that are car enthusiasts. In Cyprus, first of all, let's call it like a mentality. Each house, it has like 3-4 cars. We don't have public transports, we don't have trains. Buses are always late, so if you want to get to the place on time, you need to have a car. Most of the families, they have 2, 3, and 4 cars. So you can understand that the life cycle of a car is big in Cyprus instead of other European countries. So the biggest advantages was, first, the gap in the market. Second, the mentality of people in Cyprus and how they perceive cars. And the third and most important is that initially, the company started to provide financing for luxury cars. Why? Because banks, the maximum amount they will provide finance for is 50,000. So there are people here that they are buying the luxury cars of 200,000, 300,000, 400,000 per car. There is no bank that can finance them. So here where we step in and we can provide financing unlimited. Of course, at each case, we see each car separately because this is our expertise. Each car has its own value, it has its own depreciated value. So at any case, we take the matter deeper in order to approve a client for a luxury car, where banks will not just get into the middle and do the financing at all. So this was the initial reason that we took our company to be a licensed company under Central Bank of Cyprus. The reason is that previously, before we entered the market, if you was going to some dealer, you was asking to get a car, to get it on installments, there were 2 ways to do it. The first way was that they were cooperating with banks. They were sending the clients to banks to provide them finance. The second way was to take the financing out from the car dealer itself, which is not legal. Okay? So when it is not legal, it means that clients were paying excessive interest rates. They couldn't have control over their car because the title deed was on the car dealer until repayment. So they didn't have a contract that they will make sure that at the end of the day, when they will fully repay, they were. So when we entered the market, we had to adapt perception. When we were car financing, people were thinking that we are the same thing, that like the car dealers, that maybe we give them the car, they repay the car, and then we don't give them the car back. This is not what we were doing at all, but this was the general perception of consumers. So it was a strategy again. In 2021, we started our licensing process to get under Central Bank of Cyprus, because if you are regulated under the Central Bank of Cyprus, it means that you need to comply with AMLs, KYCs, financial reports, ICAPs. So it means that there is a regulator that is on overhead of you. We have checks monthly, quarterly, yearly by Central Bank, so they can see what we are doing, how we will do it, and if there is something wrong, they step in and protect the consumer. So after getting licensed, we are seeing that our strategy it was a correct way to do it, get the license, because we can see now the trust in the perception of consumers. They have the brand awareness of Ta Meri Finance now. They know what we are doing, who we are. They know we are regulated, and we have nothing to jealous about from banks. So we are the first point of contact when it comes to financing of cars instead of banks at the moment. Speaking from 2019 until now 2025, this is what we managed to do, to get the people to know us, get the perception that we are regulated, we comply with all the laws and regulations, come to us, we know car market better. So this is how we attracted all the customers to us now. If we want to go strictly speaking, the only competitors we have are banks. Okay? Why? Because they are the only ones that they can provide car loan. Because finance lease at the end of the day is a car loan. There is a technicality in the terms finance lease, and what is the official terms of finance lease is that we do a contractual agreement for, let's say, 3 years, and at the end of the 3 years you have the option to either buy the car at the perceived value. Let's say we have a car of 30,000, after 3 years the value of the car is 15,000, so you have the option to buy the car at 15,000, either return the car to us and then get a new car. So banks cannot offer this. So at the end of the day, we don't have a competitor at this product, which is the actual finance lease. The only competitor we have are banks in the traditional financing, where you just pay your monthly installment. When the contract ends, the car belongs to you and we transfer the car to you. So the competitive advantage we have over banks, and this is the main question we have from everyone, why to come to you and why not to go to a bank, is that we are fast. Banks here in Cyprus, it takes them like 1 month to get you an approval, and then they need another 2 weeks to make a payment to the car dealer in order for the client to get his car. So you go, you're trying to get a car immediately because you have a need, and if you want to go through a bank, it needs 1.5 months approximately to get the approval and get the payment to the car dealer so they deliver the car to you. In Ta Meri Finance, once we have all the papers that we need, the documentation that we need, because we need to comply with all the laws, so we need to have everything in place. Within 48 hours, the client has its approval. Within the next 48 hours, the car comes to the client. So within 4 days, you can have your car, compared to 1.5 months that is the banks. The second advantage is what we have discussed before. We finance cars for an unlimited amount, so we don't have a cap to 50,000 like banks. And we have the expertise of the market, where we try to protect our clients. Our biggest disadvantage is that we are more expensive than banks. Okay, this is logical, and this maybe will never change. We are trying to find sources of financing where we'll be able to be more competitive in terms of interest rate, because that's the only thing that distinguishes us from banks, from clients' perspective. So what we managed to do is that we have the expertise to protect our client and provide our client the opportunity to get a car from the network of our main dealers, where they get discount prices because of us. So maybe we are more expensive than banks, but at the end of the day, we try and get the discount initially for our client, and he gets the car cheaper from the car dealer. So at the end of the day, we are cheaper than banks too. So these are our main advantages that I would say that define us and make us better than banks. Okay, so the products that we offer 3 different products, but all under the same roof. So the license that we have is to provide finance lease. So we cannot expand our portfolio to other things and other investments other than the finance lease. Finance lease, we are expanding, it's just an inside information right now. We are discussing with Central Bank of Cyprus to expand our license, not to provide finance lease just for cars, but also for motorcycles, yachts, aircrafts, machineries, factory machineries, household machines. So we are trying to expand our portfolio so we can provide more types of finance lease in different products, which we cannot do at the moment. We are in a good step, and I think that we will manage to get that. That's the first thing. The second thing is that, as discussed before, we provide the traditional financing where the client can pay and get his car. We provide the flex end, this is how we call it, where you have the capability of either returning the car or repaying the car and making it yours. And we have another product at the end that we introduced this year, is for cars up to 20,000. We don't request any down payment. So we want to help people that they have a good salary, they have a good financial background, but they don't have the savings, because nowadays it's difficult for everyone to have a saving at place to make the 20% that we initially requesting. So we created a new product with high interest for us, where we provide the car to the client. We get 2 security deposits upfront, which is 2 monthly installments that are deducted at the end of the contract. It's like a safety for us, but we don't request a 20% down payment because our risk is minimum for the car up to 20,000. So because we are getting better prices for our dealers, we still have the gap in the market. If something goes wrong, we get the car and we push it quickly in the market. It's easy to do it. So the risk is minimum. That's why we capped it to 20,000 and we didn't cap it at 50,000 cars. So we are trying to help the market out, and we are trying to expand our portfolio currently in order to achieve and capture more market share. At this point, because you mentioned that we refer to our own investors and financial advisors, I started discussing some numbers about the market trend in Cyprus. There is an average sales of cars of 44,000 cars per year in Cyprus. 40% of that are financed in general, so mainly by banks before us, but now we are in the market, so within that 40% we finance cars. So I just want to give an insight on how big this market is that right now we are capturing just 1.4% of the finance cost in the market. Okay, so first of all, I want to go back and explain how everything started and where we are now and how this cooperation began. Because from the start, the money that we're investing in Ta Meri Finance, we are coming from R2P Invest, but at that point it was not a shareholder of the group. So it was an investment through Ta Meri. In the beginning, the company started back in 2019, middle of 2019, until the operation started with the initial model of the luxury cars. COVID came in 2020, so 1 year of dead period. Then restarting in 2021, I joined the company in 2021, and we started rebranding the company, expanding our portfolios. So that's where we needed more financing and more money in order to make everything happen and make the perception, take the license. So it was a hard journey, a strong journey. We are happy to be here and we will make it a lot stronger. We always, when I joined the company, I prepared a 10 years plan where we follow every year. Every year we try and we adapt 2 times a year if needed to our business plan. So I had the long-term vision in that. Within that long-term vision, when I introduced the company was loss-making. We managed right now to make the minuses to positives 2 years ago. So what this means for our investors is that we have right now R2P, which is our shareholder. R2P is investing some of its funds because, as you know, you mentioned our other companies in the group, there is a diversified portfolio. So we don't do NPLs portfolio, it's a separate product. So some of the amounts that are invested is to Ta Meri Finance. What I can ensure and what we can show with our track record and our history is that our 10-year plan is working. We have a lot more to bring into the market. And we appreciate everything they do for us, especially Victor, which is a coordinator of the group, let's say, trying to make everything happen. So anytime we needed our investors, they were there for us. We have big plans for them. We are expanding. We are sourcing cash of our own now. It's a different market. It's a big market. And what we always do in Ta Meri Finance is that we make our investors take the returns that they're requesting back and trying to create a lot more value in the company. So if you see the valuations of the company from 2019 until today, you will see the huge difference in the work that we are doing here. So what I can surely say is that their money are safe with us and we have more and bigger plans for the future. Yes. So everything is within our 10 years plan as mentioned later. So the first thing that we are trying to secure is to expand our license. Expanding our license gives us the opportunity to enter markets in Cyprus that, again, there are not other players in the market that do the finance lease, like the factory machinery, like the yachts, aircrafts, private jets. So that's the markets that we want to enter. There is no one right now that is doing that. Banks do not like this. We don't care about banks. We are better than banks in this area. We know the markets. We enter the markets, and we want to expand our license in order to be able to provide more products. By doing this, maybe, as you mentioned, we find a strategic partner to do a new joint venture under the Ta Meri license that they bring the experience they have, for example, for factory machineries, and we do the finance lease for them. So we are open for strategic partnerships. We are trying to expand our license in order to be able to capture a lot more market. And at the end of the day, all this comes to how much funding we have available to expand. Within this 10 years plan, and it's something that is already in motion, is that currently we are entering the car sales market. So the model, how it works right now, is that we have a network of car dealers that we cooperate with them. The clients come to us. We redirect them to the car dealers to get their car. We get a percentage of the sales, a commission, let's say, for sending the clients to them, and then they bring the clients to us for finance lease. This is how it works right now. We know the market well. We know it very good. We know that there are high margins in car sales. So what we are doing right now is that it's a new project undergoing for the past 3 months right now. We are expecting this to grow in the next couple of years because it needs like 1.5 years to get to know the people to know you in the new area of the market. But we want to take our competitive advantage over everyone else because no one else can provide the finance lease option. So what we are trying to do is to start from the initial cycle. So import the car, sell the car, finance the car, and the next 3 years plan is to do our own service station, tire station. So we will have the whole cycle of the car within Ta Meri Finance. So this is the long-term goal. It's not something that will happen within the next year. We need, like, as I predict, like 2-3 years to do this fully. And I think we will achieve it within the time frame. We're already starting the first step, which is the importing of cars. So that we are importing some cars. Second step is that we are looking for a place to establish our own showroom or warehouse where we are going to be storing our cars and selling our cars. So when the clients come to us, we'll be able to have the actual store ourselves. We don't need to send them to other car dealers. We will do it ourselves. And then within the next 2-3 years, we want to offer whatever comes with a car to be provided by us and force the clients to use us in order to have the guarantee that we will provide for the cars. So at the end of the day, we want to have from the first step of the cycle of the car until the last step of the cycle of the car, we want to do it all. So this is a big game. This is the 10 years plan, let's say, and this is where I see the company going in the future. I want them to be proud for us, for what we do, what we managed to achieve. What we have done in Cyprus is not easy to do, to penetrate the market that there is no perception on what finance lease is and how it works. So we managed from 2019 until today to establish our brand. Maybe not everyone in Cyprus knows us, but at least 50% of Cyprus, I'm 100% sure that they know us. And we managed to do this through brand awareness, through the competitive advantage that we have, but also from the customer service that we provide. So we have like 99% customer satisfaction, and the reason is that people working here and the team that we have here and help us to grow the company, they are perfect guys, they are professionals, they know what they do, they are always on the clock. We do the extra step, we don't have time schedules, we work anytime, anywhere. So this is what distinguishes us as a company and what makes us proud, and what we achieved and what we will achieve in the future. I want them to think us, to be proud and think us like the gem of the group, because this is how we think that we are. We tried something in a country that there is no competition. We managed to penetrate the market. We managed to provide the financial results that is needed by our investors. And we are still capturing, I'm emphasizing on that, 1.4% of the car financing market, and from the car sales that we have with our dealers, 1.8% from the car sales market. And I'm emphasizing that there are another 90-something% to capture. So what we will do in the future, if we have the support of our investor, which is very important for us to have the financial capability to step into all these steps, I'm sure that they will be amazed in the next 5 years of what we will manage to do.